In films, as in life, the bad guy sometimes gets away with it. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie characters who get away with murder. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're focusing on film characters that unlawfully killed at least one human, but were either found not guilty in a court of law, or were never even caught to begin with. So don't expect to see the likes of Hannibal Lecter, since he was found guilty but escaped. And, of course, a spoiler alert is now in effect.
You f***ing bitch.
Number 10. The Driver, Drive.
Anything happens in that 5 minutes and I'm yours, no matter what.
This Hollywood stunt driver slash getaway driver is what you'd call the strong and silent type, because even though he doesn't speak much, he sure knows how to get things done. In a bid to protect his neighbor Irene and her son Benicio, the driver does whatever it takes, including driving her just-released from prison husband to and from a pawn shop robbery. When things go badly, the driver ends up having to kill multiple men involved with the Albanian gangster Cook, as well as Cook himself. With that brutal elevator scene being a kill moviegoers cannot get out of their heads. Though the driver and Irene don't get their happy ending, he is ultimately able to drive away from it all.
But I just want you to know, getting to be around you and Benicio was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Number 9. Roxanne Roxy Hart and Velma Kelly, Chicago. These two jazz-age flapper femme fatales murder their lovers in cold blood, but manage to trick the press, the public, and the courts into thinking they're really not all that bad. Impulsive, scheming, and often breaking into song, this sultry duo brings a cool nonchalance to the crimes they're accused of, brushing them off like you would a small inconvenience.
It wasn't until later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, I even knew they were dead.
Their true love is fame. Their objective, to be adored. And if killing a man gets them noticed, they are keen to use their crimes and their many performance skills to their advantage. When it comes to murder, these two really are naturals. Number 8. John Kramer, the Jigsaw Killer, Saw.
I want to play a game.
Take a terminally ill cancer patient drifting into psychosis, add a very mean streak, and you get Jigsaw, a serial killer and all-around nightmare villain. Determined to create a newfound zeal for life in his victims, he chooses people he deems morally flawed in some way and puts them through horrific and violent tests to help them redeem themselves and strengthen their appreciation for their own lives.
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. But not you. Not anymore.
Jigsaw's sadistic streak and intricate mind games give him an edge over the other murderers in this countdown, making him arguably the most outlandish and flamboyant killer, and earning the film he stars in an undeniable cult following as well as multiple sequels.
Game over.
Number 7. Griffin Mill, The Player.
Keep it to yourself! Keep it to yourself!
In this satirical comedy neo-noir masterpiece, a disillusioned and paranoid Hollywood exec gets into a back alley brawl with a failed writer, and when the fight gets out of hand, he finds himself fleeing the scene of a murder. Griffin Mill is uniquely qualified to guide us on this absurd Tinseltown adventure, providing us with a thoughtful meditation on the banality of evil, as well as a scathing satire of a decaying film industry.
Maybe we'll do a remake of this.
His metamorphosis from a sympathetic and sensitive man into a calculating and arrogant studio big shot reminds us that the capacity for evil resides in all of us, but maybe just a bit more in Hollywood.
I don't think David liked me very much.
I think he just didn't like happy endings.
Number 6. Gavin Elster, Vertigo.
Do you believe that someone out of the past, someone dead, can enter and take possession of a living being?
Only Alfred Hitchcock's mind could conjure up this cold-blooded killer looking to murder his wife by concocting an incredibly convoluted plot. Using a double to impersonate his wife Madeline, superstitious notions of possession, local legends, and a broken retired policeman with a deathly fear of heights, powerful magnate Gavin Elster spins a web of lies and deceit to get away with murder.
You were the victim. I was the tool and you were the victim of Gavin Elster's plan to murder his wife.
While Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak steal the show with their powerful on-screen chemistry, it's Elster that really drives the story with his machinations and diabolical plotting. He may not be our top character to get away with murder, but he is certainly the most imaginative.
There was no way for them to understand. You and I know who killed Madeline.
Number 5, Amy Elliott Dunn, Gone Girl.
And you? Who are you?
Rosamund Pike plays the perfect sociopath in this nail-biting suspense thriller. One that's ready to lie, steal, and kill to get what she wants, all with a lovely smile on her face. Cunning and deceitful, Amy is the very picture of a devoted and loving wife when she mysteriously disappears from her home, making her husband the prime suspect in her murder.
Is that what you're asking me, if I murder my wife?
I would never ask you that!
Like any true sociopath, Amy is great at pretending and using everything and everyone to her advantage. She navigates this world like a predator, ready to kill when the situation requires it. Her sweet demeanor reminds us that wolves often do hide in sheep's clothing.
He took and took from me until I no longer existed. That's murder.
Number 4, Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men.
Don't put it in your pocket, sir. Don't put it in your pocket. It's your like a quarter.
Brought to life in an unforgettable performance by Javier Bardem, this cold-blooded hitman with unorthodox ultra-violent methods is perhaps the oddest character on this list. Coming across as a mix of weird, eccentric, pathological, and terrifying, he's firmly secured a place in cinematic history. Chigurh stands out as a hypnotizing villain, mostly because he's so unpredictable.
You going to shoot me?
And the audience has a hard time attributing reason or motivation to his killings.
That depends.
He operates according to a moral code all his own, replicating the chaos of the universe, reminding us that ultimately, death is arbitrary and often meaningless.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Number 3, Chris Wilton, Match Point.
I know it's not the most honorable thing to cheat on your wife, but that does not make me a murderer.
Driven by self-interest and greed, Chris Wilton murders his pregnant mistress when she threatens to reveal their affair to his wealthy wife's family and put his newly acquired social status in peril.
Lola.
In this psychological thriller, Woody Allen uses Chris Wilton's story to explore the point at which greed, lust, and morality intersect, in the process creating a profoundly flawed character for whom self-interest comes first.
I don't fool myself that I haven't gotten used to a certain kind of living. Am I supposed to give it all up?
While easily relatable and engaging on the surface, Wilton perfectly embodies the adage of every man for himself, giving the audience a disheartening view into the darker corners of the human soul.
It would be fitting if I were apprehended and punished.
Number 2, Aaron Stampler, Primal Fear.
You was lawyer, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, with your fancy suit. I heard about you.
The ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing, this altar boy convinces the world he's the victim and not the predator in his own murder story. Arrested for killing an archbishop, Stampler is able to string along his lawyer and the courts through impressive theatrics and contrived sob stories, wrapping them all around his little finger.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
Deceptive and cunning, he displays all the traits of a born sociopath and, above all, the skill and craft to emulate emotion perfectly. His uncanny ability to elicit sympathy makes him particularly memorable, as he manages to get everyone, including the audience, rooting for him. So much so that he's let off with a verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity and sent to a mental hospital.
Yeah, I did get caught though, didn't I?
Number 1, Roger Verbal Kint, Kaiser Soze, The Usual Suspects.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
One of film's most enigmatic and legendary killers, this character wears the crown when it comes to getting away with murder. Through the recollections of police witness Roger Verbal Kint, Soze is introduced as a mythical Turkish crime lord who earned his stripes by murdering his own family to prove his ruthlessness to his criminal adversaries.
He tells him he would rather see his family dead than live another day after this.
Throughout the film, Soze is made out to be a larger-than-life villain, and the mystery that shrouds him amplifies his legend. He lives in the shadows, operating a vast criminal operation, and yet is completely unknown. The film gives the audience the sense that we're closing in on Soze, but ultimately the thing that makes him such an appealing character is that he just can't be caught.
And like that, he's gone.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.